Okay, let's get started. So this afternoon, I want us to talk a little bit about the student employment process. What we have had in the past has, in some cases it's worked well, in other cases not so hot. So we are in the process, and there has been a committee that's been working for the last several months, actually, on developing a more formalized process and procedures for all student employment. And so I want to talk with you a little bit about that today. And I have some friends who are coming to help me, and I'm thankful for that. This procedure and policy has not been adopted in full yet by senior leadership. It's in that process, but the 2 months in the summer, because we had faculty members and those sort of folks on the committee during the summer, we got behind during that couple of months in the summer. So it's not quite ready to roll out in full, but we are rolling the majority of it out now. And then a couple of remaining pieces of it we anticipate will be rolled out starting in January. So I'm not going to talk about those pieces today, but I do want for us to talk about the pieces that we're rolling out as we speak, like as soon as this is over. And in fact, part of it's already been done for you. And so that's what we're here to do today. I just want to give you a little background on sort of what we're looking at. And then we've got a trainer here that's going to help you with tools on your end as supervisors of student employment, tools that will help you do your portion of this. So basically, the new policy and procedure is a collaboration among 3 departments and hiring units. So 3 departments and you, if you're a manager of student workers. The idea was that it seems like an overwhelming job for any one department to do unless we have a totally dedicated student employment office, which we do not have, and we don't have the funds to have that. And so the concept was, let's get the stakeholders who really need to have a part in this together, and those departments each take a portion of it and work it in collaboration with the manager of that student and see if we can create a product that will work for everyone while not overwhelming anyone. So that's our goal. We'll see how that works. I think we're making great strides toward it, and I think it's a very doable thing. But those departments are the Office for Career Education. I want to call it Student Success, but it's for Career Education. And Brittany Kimler, Stipler, I'm sorry. I'm working on it. At least I've got the face right. She is graciously working on her end, and basically the nuts and bolts of it are that they will be handling helping managers who will be responsible for it, but facilitating managers uploading job postings for student employment onto a product that is known as Successlink, which you're going to hear much more about today and learn how to use and actually be registered so that you can immediately begin posting your student worker jobs. And Brittany will help facilitate all that, train, those sorts of things. Then the Office of Human Resources, which is Vicki, Marley, and me, will be those that once you've posted your job, once you've gotten your applicants, and you get ready to hire, then that person would come to us for the hiring process. All the products that they need to be ready to come to us will be uploaded out on PilgrimNet. You as the manager, but they will be responsible, you in guiding in that direction, to get them to pull all those things down, gather all the materials they need before they come to us by appointment, not just by dropping in, but by appointment. And then we will get them the HR side of it, the background checks, all those things done, and then get them loaded into payroll. And then the final piece of that is financial aid. And financial aid is, I've got David's coming to talk. I am not a financial aid person. I'm very grateful I'm not a financial aid person. I would be a terrible financial aid person. So I don't even talk financial aid. If I hear that word, I call David. And so in just a minute, David's going to come and share his part of that, or his office part of that. And then the fourth prong of that table is, of course, the manager of that student worker in the department. And that person will be responsible for preparing a job description to request a job. And then once that job is approved, and it will be approved if it's in your budget, and there's more to that that's still to be revealed, but the new budgets will have student worker money inside your budget, and it will be based on the number of student worker hours you need, not the amount of dollars you need, but the number of student worker hours you need. And Ken is still working on that, so you can expect to be getting more information about that in the near future. But he and Ann are working on that. So you just have to accept that piece and know that it's coming, and you're going to get more information on that. But those are the four legs of the table to what we're trying to build for a student worker process. David's going to come and straighten us out on all that part.
Will do.
And then we'll move to the next section.
Do I have to stand at the microphone?
You do, because they're recording and taking.
I hate this. I hate being right here, as y'all kind of know about me. So, student worker payroll, there are two types of student workers at Piedmont College. We have federal student workers, and we have Piedmont student workers. And then one of the things that I've been working with HR and the student worker committee is to try to figure out a process to identify who those federal student workers are versus the Piedmont student workers. And what we've come up with is when they submit their information to HR is going to send me those names, the departments they're working in, and then at that point, financial aid is going to identify who's federal work study, who is not federal work study. We are going to reply to HR and the budget manager who those people are. So you're aware of that. When they come off federal work study, or when they've exhausted all of their eligibility, HR will get an email from us, as will the budget manager. Federal work study does not impact you in any way. It's just a classification of this type of student it is. We're going to try this for 6 months. We're going to see, it's just a transparency issue, so you're aware. Don't think that, oh, I've got 7 federal work study students, that's not going to reduce my budget. It will still reduce the number of people hours that you have in your department. But it's just a transparency thing. Are there any questions about the difference between federal work study and work study? Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so it will be seamless for the student that they can move from federal work study?
Yes, that's the hope and the goal. They're still going to do their time cards, everything that they do on their side. You're still going to have to go out and approve it. It's all going to be approved the same way. The only difference is how they're coded inside colleague, and that's going to be an HR function. So if there's an issue where we kind of get something misclassified for a second, we might have to talk to our good friend, the controller, to say, hey, we're going to have to do a little bit of a GL adjustment to move things around, which I'm sure she's really excited about. I can see her laughing. She's doing this, which is what I do when I don't want to say anything out loud. Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, and then the only change is, am I right in saying the only change for that student that goes from federal aid to student worker might be the amount of taxes being taken out? So if they're working the same hours, their check might...
Not my understanding. The only real difference between a federal work study student and a Piedmont work study student is the source of the revenue.
Okay.
With federal work study, 75% of that revenue comes from the U.S. Department of Education, 25% comes from us. It's actually a little less than that because of stuff. With Piedmont work study, all of it comes from the college. So they're actually, when you're a federal employee or federal work study, you're getting some money from the government. When you're us, you're us.
Can I throw something in and you shoot me down?
Sure.
Wrong? And this complicates it, but I know enough about you to know that as surely as we don't tell you this, then you'll say you didn't tell me that. But there is a possibility that there is a bigger difference there, and there's a possibility that there could be tax differentials there. predominantly only in the summertime.
Yes.
Depending on whether a student has been in spring semester, is enrolled for fall semester, there could be some differences there during the summertime.
Yeah. If a student is not registered for classes, but they are pre-registered for the next term, if they are work study, there are no taxes on that. If they're federal work study, there are no taxes on it. If they're Piedmont work study, there could be taxes on that. I think we're still looking into that.
And that has to do with not only whether they are a student, but if they are a student who is actively attending classes.
Yeah.
So for David's purposes, and I'm not all clear about his purposes, and like I say, I don't know, that's not what I do. But for student worker purposes, on the Piedmont side of the house, it's not enough to have been enrolled in attending in spring and enrolled and planning to attend in the fall. If they're not enrolled and attending class during summer, then that work would be taxable.
So that's the part we're talking about.
We're working on that and getting a plan. Just know that it's a more intricate decision than it would seem to be.
I do not plan on having a lot of federal work study students in the summer. I imagine that with this new approach, we're probably going to use a lot of our federal work study in the fall. If you are in one of our outside service offices, such as the library or the art department, you're going to have a lot of work study, because that's where we get our community service requirements, because those are outside facing offices that do attend to the public. If you are in maintenance and grounds, you will probably not have any work study students, because there's a provision about how federal work study cannot enhance the college in any way. And I don't want to have to get into an argument about if someone cutting the grass or someone painting a wall is enhancing the college in any way. So there are those sorts of things. Yes, ma'am.
So when we're hiring students,
Mm-hmm.
do we need to ask before we
No.
hire them whether they work study?
No, that's not important to y'all. It's not important in the hiring conversation. It does not matter if they're work study or not. If that's a student you want to hire and you have the budget to do it, please hire that student. Let the work study stuff fall to us. The federal work study stuff fall to us.
One caveat: provided you are not hiring that student in a discriminatory way.
Right.
You still need to be aware of the discrimination laws about treating people fairly and considering all applicants and those sorts of things.
We should even ask
That's correct.
them.
I have a question if it's a rehire.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something we have to go through this process? So that we have a work study student that's, say, it's going to be a third year for me, it's going to be my work study student again. You have to go through the application process again?
No.
Or is it?
No, this is for new. So, and that's good news for all of us, because we've got somewhere between 400 and 500 student workers, and the three of us are not equipped to run 400 or 500 people through our office within the next week. So it's good news for all of us. We're drawing a line in the sand and going forward. And then as the years roll by, every position will eventually roll over into that, but they're not all going to do it at one time.
Yes, sir.
Was there any specific time frame when we're going to find out how many hours or how many students we can hire? Because we're getting asked all summer about, can I work again? And I've had to tell them all I don't know. And if the answer is we don't know yet, that's fine too. But is there any, or at least a ballpark of how many hours we'll get based on what we had last year, or an adjustment to what we used last year?
I wish Ken were here to answer this. So I'm going to give my best impression of Ken, which is not good. That just means you can't hold me to it. But I'll give you my best impression, not my best impression, I'll give you my best guessed Ken answer. How about that? Fair enough? So as I understand it, your unit head, in your case the AD, during the budgeting process would have requested the number of hours that your areas need. Now, if you haven't had a discussion with him about that, then that may not have happened. So I don't know what he actually did, and I'm not throwing stones at anyone. Oh, Liz maybe can add to this.
You should be getting an email today, tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay.
The reason
But the bottom line is, here's what I believe. I believe that the goal this year was to set it at as close to we could get as to the same thing you had last year.
Okay.
And then at the end of this year, at the end of 17-18, you will be expected to justify what you got and whether you need that same amount again and what kind of an impact you've made with that money and those sorts of things, but that the baseline this year is going to be what you had last year. Is that what you understood as well, Liz?
That's what I said. We had a meeting yesterday.
And that applies not just for athletics, but for all departments.
Justin, that's the conversation that I had with Ken when I went through my budget meeting about.
Okay. Because the reason I say that is when we have to answer these questions from parents on Saturday.
Right.
I was
And
hoping to have
that's
the
my
answer.
understanding. And these people that just chimed in with me are on that same committee, so and they're in agreement. So I think we're probably pretty safe to abide by that.
And you said we should find out today.
That's what I was under the impression.
Okay. Let's talk about hours. That comes up a lot of questions about hours and how many hours can people work, because in the past we've had, I'm not accustomed to standing still, we've had a lot of questions about that, because in the past, and I don't know exactly how it all works, but there was a tiered scale. So if you were a freshman, you could work this many hours, a sophomore could work this many, a junior this many, and a senior this many. That is going away. So all student employees, and that includes GAs, by the way, will be eligible to work 20 hours in a week. Can I finish and then go there?
Sure.
Okay.
I thought you were finished. I'm sorry.
Will be eligible to work 20 hours in a week. GAs are expected to work 20 hours a week. That is a part of being a GA, is the expectation that you will work 20 hours in a week. Other students can work up to 20 hours. So they could work 10 hours in David's office and 10 hours in athletics. It has to be no more than 20 for a combined total. All student workers, well, not right now, regular student workers, not GAs, will be at $7.25 an hour beginning right away. Across the board, that's what they will all be for right now. That 20-hour-a-week limit is true, but there is another governor on that, and the other governor on that is 20 hours a week, but not to exceed 975 hours in the course of an academic year, August 1 to July 31. So it should get you very close to 20 hours a week, but if you can't work them 52 weeks at 20 hours, because then you're going to exceed 975. But it should get you really close to being able to do 20 hours a week. But the bigger cap is 975. And all hourly employees and all student employees will now be hourly employees. In a previous time, GAs got stipends rather than hourly rates. Everyone will be on an hourly rate, and everyone will be submitting time through web time entry. Now,
Pertaining to the 20 hours a week,
Mhm.
I'm sure there are other units on campus too where the nature of that position in certain periods of the year, they're going to be working a lot more than 20 hours. Is that just assume that the first hour after 20 is just an unpaid hour?
you can't work people for things you don't pay them for. Whatever they work, they have to have on their timesheet and they have to be paid.
So what if, for example, if our baseball team leaves on a Thursday for a weekend conference game, and we will exceed 20 hours by Saturday?
How much are you going to exceed it by?
Can I speak up this point? I think, Rosemary, are you coming to our staff meeting?
I am on Tuesday. Well, let me rephrase that. I think I am.
Okay.
I think you are. So let's
I think I am. Yeah, and we'll go into all those details because athletics has some nuances about it that other folks don't have, and it's going to be confusing.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem.
All right. So now let's talk a little bit about the process of posting and hiring. So the hiring, and I've kind of said this but in a discombobulated way earlier, so I'll try it again. The hiring manager will be responsible for developing the job description and then providing a written financial justification for the job. In other words, make sure that we've got budget funds for it. And then you need to submit it to HR. And it's not that I'm being the thing, it's just that I'm the goldfish that they're sending the forms to. Then the finance people, Ken and Yvette, will say, yes, there's money here for this, or no, there's not. And based on that, someone will let you know. If that's approved, then you will be able to, as the manager, as a supervisor, you will be able to go into Successlink and upload the job announcement for that position. You will have the applicant materials sent directly to you or to someone in your office, whoever you appoint in your office, but by email to you. Then you evaluate those applicants and you figure out who you want to hire and you get all that worked out. You send the student out to get the information off of PilgrimNet that needs to come to HR, and then it will come to us. Marley's going to come and talk to you about that process. Once that hiring decision is made, what do you need to do to facilitate that student moving through the process further?
Okay, so I think most of y'all are aware of how you've hired students in the past. You would hire the student and then you send them to HR. You were done until the student came back and said, okay, I'm okay to work. We're changing that process a little bit now just because we want y'all to kind of chime in, help the student, because there are several documents that the supervisor is required to fill out, to sign off on. So once you've made your decision on the student worker that you would like to hire in your department, ask them to go out to PilgrimNet, or you sit down there with them and go onto PilgrimNet or the PC website, and you can download the Student Employee Hire Packet. This has every single document that a student employee is required to have in order to be entered into colleague, get paid, enter their web time entry, all that stuff. This hiring packet includes the checklist that the supervisor has to ensure that every document is completed and the supervisor has to sign off on. This includes the job description that y'all should already have in your office. I believe I already sent out a job description template to most everybody. I will send that out again. But that template is something that every hiring manager needs to use within their office. That is something that all you have to do is just print it off, put it in their packet. No more filling it out by hand, any of that kind of stuff. The template's really easy. It kind of already gives you an idea of what you need to put in there. So just put it in there based off of your job responsibilities for that student. If you have students that are working different jobs within your area, make sure that you have a job description for each individual job responsibility. You're not doing the job description to that particular student, you're doing it to that particular job. Along with the job description, you also have an employment verification form. You're just verifying that this student is within your office. It still states on there how many hours the student is working within your office. So if you've already set up your schedules with them and they're working 10 hours a week, that's what their schedule should have been worked out, other than class, that they're being held responsible to work in your area. You also have a confidentiality statement that is very, very important, because we want to make sure that our students understand that everything they see, hear, or speak is confidential within that area. We have a background authorization form also that we may be running background authorizations on all of our students. We also might be implementing the credit check for certain areas that students are working. This is including the business office, the president's office, any areas that may deal with finances. We may be running credit checks on these students, so that's something that they need to be made aware of. We also have tax forms. We have the federal form, which is the W-4, and then we also have the state tax form, the G form. These forms have to be completed. Taxes, state and federal taxes are always taken out on students. They may claim exempt. That's not your responsibility. That's not our responsibility to tell them what to put on their tax forms. If they want to talk to their parents, if they want to talk to a tax supervisor, that's fine. That's the direction that we tell them, but we want to make sure that they are completed. All of these forms that are in this hire packet have to be completed before they come back to HR. That's the whole point of the checklist, is that you're making sure that every I is dotted, every T is crossed. They also have an I-9. The I-9 is the most important thing. That's getting them to work. They have to bring in physical documents of their identifying documents. So this can't be a copy of their driver's license. This can't be a fax document of their passport. They have to bring in the actual document to our office so that we can see it, so that we can verify. We go through a website called E-Verify. This makes sure that these employees are eligible to work on campus. If we find an issue that they are not eligible, we'll let you know right away. But it's very important that you discuss this with your student employees, that they have to have all this done before they ever submit this paperwork to you. Yes.
And again, this is just for the brand new kids coming in, all your oldies, the goodies are good. Am I correct?
Do it.
All the old students.
Yes, this is only to new students.
I have two quick questions.
Okay.
Athens campus.
We do have 2 people out there that are able to sign off on the I-9s. That's going to be Mitzi Heck and Julie Lewis.
Okay. And are they going to be expected to go through those new hire packets before they're sent to HR?
Yes.
Or is HR going to go through it?
Well, what we ask on the Athens campus, just because, well, we ask the supervisor, of course, to make sure that everything's there. Yes, but they will have to go through and make sure that the I-9 is signed off on before they send it to us.
And Mitzi Heck is also someone else.
Yes. Yes.
And then because I happen to be in charge of one of those offices with credit checks.
Yes.
What if someone does have adverse credit? What's your definition of adverse credit? And is there a possibility that you're going to look at someone that we choose to hire in financial aid and say, this person's not eligible?
We haven't gotten to that point yet. I'm not sure if Rosemary can help.
Yes.
Okay, what is adverse credit? Because 18-year-olds don't usually have credit.
Yeah, I can't answer that at this point, but I can tell you if there are red flags, then any department could be told, no, you can't have that.
Student workers in our office do not have access to copies. So we'll talk about that later. I'm sorry.
Okay, no problem.
So again, what we just asked, because of course I know y'all want students in your office as quickly as possible because everybody's schedule is super busy, but you have to get clearance from HR before you can have this person working. So we're the ones giving you the final hire date. Once they've come to our office, they've submitted all their documents, we've ran everything, we've signed off on everything, I will contact you and let you know, hey, Susie is good to go. You can start her whenever. And whenever could be that afternoon, whenever could be 2 weeks from there. It's just, as long as you have clearance from us, then you can start that student. Do not put a student in your office and then be like, oh, by the way, go to HR. That's not going to work. Yes, we will pay them just because we are required to pay any student that works, but that's not going to fly with us. That's going to also possibly keep you from having student employees for future times. Is there any other questions?
I have a question. If you have a student who previously worked in the fitness center and now I want to hire them in my office, is that considered a new hire?
What that's going to be considered, because they're already in the system, we already have all their identifying documents on file, is that it's a job description and an employment verification form. And those all, like I said, all these forms are out on PilgrimNet as well as the PC website.
Make sure, Stephanie, or whoever, that in that case, your budget number gets put on that job description to update what that's doing, because otherwise we will have no way to know to stop it from coming out of the fitness center and start coming out of whatever you need to come out of.
I just use that as a...
Because unless somebody puts that to us in writing, we have no way of knowing.
Right, okay.
Did you already mention where we're getting the budget numbers from?
You should have access to your budget areas.
I've got my budget areas, but in terms of salary and placements for these types of employments, I haven't been given access to any of that. I don't know any of us have.
We
Yes.
just use our unit number, such as.
I can do my department numbers.
Well, then that's the best we can do, but I understand from Ken, those are going to be in individual departments this year. Is that what you understand of that?
What I've seen, some people have a work study line item on their total budget. I'm assuming that's where the number is. If you put in your unit number,
Yes,
the whole
student
budget
doesn't have
will.
those populated yet.
Then, yes, I would say give us your unit number, and then we'll work that out but I'm pretty sure that Ken's intent is for that to be, it may just not be rolled out yet, but I think that's his intent from what I understand.
similar to last year, will there be a training offered again? Or the
Oh,
same
what?
kind of training session where they have to get a certificate of completion?
We're not requiring that this year. The reason why we did that last year is just kind of clean up our end and everything. But yes, for returning students, we're not going to require that. Tuesday of next week, we are holding this is mainly for freshmen, but any students that may have been on campus that have never had a job before, we are holding a mandatory student employment kind of training again.
Part of the
Yes.
orientation schedule?
Yeah.
Tuesday at 4 o'clock, did you say that?
Yes. Tuesday at 4.
And when they come in and they're processed in our office, we still give them the link of where they can go to get that training. So that training is still available.
Yeah.
If you have people that are lost and confused and need a
Right.
refresher,
Yeah.
it's still available.
Yeah, it's always good to have them do a refresher. So it's not a requirement, but it's something as a hiring manager just to kind of have them go through, just with any kind of updates. Like I said, our HR portal page is always going to have the most updated stuff. So if you're needing something, and if you don't see something out there, just let me know or let us know. We'll be glad to get it up there for you.
Just for clarification, I understand if the student is a returning student worker, that they're good to go. Will they still need a job description form filled
Yes.
out again, even if we turned it in last year?
Well, what we want to do is make sure. So if you've already sent one to us for just that job, then I can make sure that that's the one that you're wanting. But if you have multiple students in your job and they do different job responsibilities, I want to make sure that I have a different job description for each one. Any other questions? One other thing about the I-9 documents, if a student comes to you and says, hey, I don't have my passport, it's in Denver with my parents, have them mail it. It's got to be here before we can fill out that I-9. Any other questions? Okay.
And the way that Marley said that, it made me afraid. Because sometimes I think she'll hurt me. And so I think maybe you might feel that way too. And so the thing that she said that made me feel like she might hurt me was, that's not going to fly with us in HR. And so I would like to add a note of explanation on that. It's actually not that it's not going to fly with HR so much. It's that it doesn't fly with the Department of Homeland Security. And that makes it not fly for HR, because if you don't do that right, then they will come and put you in jail. Unfortunately, they will not come and put you in jail. They will come and put moi in jail. I probably would look good in orange, but I would not be happy behind bars. And even that might be okay, except for I know you people. And there is not a single one of you that's going to show up with cookies when I'm sitting in jail.
Put out a jar for bail.
And if any of you who have eaten beside me have had that thrilling pleasure, know that food rules my world. I'm not going to jail without cookies for anyone, and that includes you. So, truly, that's why it doesn't work for us. We don't want to go to jail. Okay. Brittany?
Are we ready? Okay.
We're ready.
Get this PowerPoint back up. Okay, I have the pleasure of introducing our representative for Purple Briefcase. Purple Briefcase is Successlink, so you might have heard Successlink, you might have heard Purple Briefcase, you might have heard Purple Suitcase. They're all the same thing, okay? Purple Briefcase is the platform that powers Successlink that we branded for Piedmont College because it is used in the Success Center for event and appointment management as well as for jobs and employer management. And Jenny is going to be telling you more about how to become an employer in the system and how to post your unique jobs within our system. So without further ado, I'm going to give it over to her. Jenny, take it away. And Jenny Pate is her name, Purple Briefcase.
Hey guys, thanks. I don't know if I have to stand in the window here. Thanks for having us. It's kind of some heavy stuff. You're just dealing with jail and all, but you know, the process hopefully is to make it more thorough for you guys, and we do have a great platform to help with this process. So before, as I'm getting this up, I do want to do an introduction because I am a hometown girl. I am the Southeastern Regional representative for Purple Briefcase with Noel Levitz, Ruffalo Noel Levitz, but I'm actually from Habersham County. So my parents are still here. If you guys know Bouchard, we're the only ones, so I'm one of them, if you happen to know one of them. And I am now working, my office is in Young Harris. My husband teaches at Young Harris College. So I've been around a couple different schools and various jobs, and I think I'm going to start here. So anyways, I'm Habersham Raider through and through. So very excited about being back, and I come down and chat with them whenever I get a good excuse. So you guys are a good excuse. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you this Successlink that they feed their students and hope that they actually use this platform, because what Successlink is a way for students to think about, what am I doing here at college? And then how is that going to transfer into getting a job? And that's what we're all here for, right? Is to hopefully they get out and get good jobs. So Successlink is a kind of a place that houses resources. It's a place for them to watch videos, to get prepared, think about their, how are they presenting themselves, all those different pieces, as well as find internships and find jobs. So they're naturally being told to go find your job at Successlink. And so now it's a good thing you guys are posting your jobs there. So I have this particular page pulled up because although it's not the most accurate in a sense of you guys are not brand new employers, you're going to already have an account. I'm going to talk about that in a second. But if you ever forget, what am I supposed to do? How do I go back to my job posting area? If you do come here, Brittany, tell me.
edu/employers, it will get you to this page. That will allow you to click on that create an account page, and that'll take you to the Purple Briefcase login page.
Okay.
If you want to use the Successlink login, it's bit.ly/Piedmont Successlink. But you can get to it through this page as well.
This may be the easiest, Piedmont.edu/employers. Okay, so once you get there, and I'm gonna do a couple different things. Gonna bounce back and forth, but I want to give you guys a good look at what the students are going to be able to see and how you guys are going to actually post a position. I don't know about you, but when I'm looking at the screen, this is distracting. Okay, so the first thing I want to tell you is you guys have all of your emails, I'm assuming everyone in here, has been imported into the Purple Briefcase system. So you are considered now an employer, okay? And so tonight, you will be receiving an email that comes from Purple Briefcase, and let's say something like you've been invited to create you have an account, but like create a password for your Purple Briefcase account. And what that will do is enables you to go ahead and enter in some information, update if they misspelled your name or something like that. You can enter in that information, as well as go ahead and get into the it's okay.
Now I really messed up. Oh, gosh. David, the answer to the question is no, I clearly cannot do this right. David said, can we get that minimized? I said, sure, but apparently not. This one?
Yeah.
I tried that.
Wow, man, I shouldn't have said anything.
All right, we can go into...
Yeah, so what I'm going to do is actually show you guys what your account is going to look like, and what then how you post a job. We're going to go look and see what a student would then see in that job view, like you're just asking, and then actually follow the applicant through. So I'm going to go to my little test company. That's not one of them, is it? Hold on. Okay. All right, so I'm going to impersonate an employer. Why is that? I've been logged out too long. This is fun. If you guys need to stretch or something like that. Okay. Okay. Here we go. All right, so I'm going to impersonate an employer, and this is what your account is going to look like. The reason why we want to make sure you recognize the name Purple Briefcase, because it is technically a Purple Briefcase account. For instance, if you were a regular employer out there, maybe with Johnson & Johnson, you could post your job to Piedmont and over to Georgia Gwinnett and some of our other schools. So they could have multiple accounts. You guys will just have this one account. So what I'm going to encourage you guys to do is, like Brittany has done here, is they've loaded up a picture. If you want to take a picture of the name of your office, that way students will know, oh yeah, athletics, I want to go work for athletics. So they're going to be able to see that logo when they log in. If you are ready to post a job, all you have to do is go add a job. So I'm going to click on add a job. And there's an application here that you're already connected to Piedmont College. You don't have to choose that. That's your school. This says blank, but it'll say athletic department. I'm going to use you guys as my example to keep you awake up there. Athletic department. They didn't even chuckle. This is touchy stuff. I can understand. So how should a student apply? Some of you guys may have. I know when I was working in Young Years College, we had some students could go right to that office and pick up an application. Some offices wanted them to go email them this. Some people wanted this, that, and the other. So you're going to tell the students either come in and you can apply right here, but I also want you to fill out this extra application. If you want them, your email is connected, but really you want it to go to your administrative assistant, you could do that. So depending on how you want the student to have that application come to you, that's what this is going to be. So via platform, that means their resumes coming here, their cover letters coming here if you require that, and you can come right to the platform and see all of your applicants in one fell swoop. External site will not, obviously that's not appropriate for you guys, and then other would be, again, that special instructions. Hey, you can apply, but I need you also to come to our office to fill out the supplemental application. Okay, your email is going to be here already, default email. Apply to information, that's the same as above right there, and then that could be, if you want it to go to the administrative assistant, I'm sorry, that's where this is. So if I click that, it'll give me an additional email and name to put in. So most likely you guys are going to be dealing with your own applicants. Once you're ready to submit this application, you can go ahead and submit. Obviously that'll be you're going to leave it on submit. If you all of a sudden your job is closed and you've hired someone and you need to edit that, you can come in here and close that position so you stop getting applicants. Okay. Okay, so this is the job type. You guys all need to say on-campus employment. That's what this particular position is. So I'm not going to go through, I'm not going to do all this, but on-campus would be that selection. And then if you guys want to indicate what kind of functions you're looking for, I'm looking for someone that creative and design, maybe I need some website help. I'm looking for, these different things. So you can indicate that. Sorry. Does that work?
Crazy.
The next column down would be majors. If you're looking for a particular major, so if I'm in the finance office and I really want, accounting majors, finance majors, and so I can do that. And then you can imagine on a job description, you got the title, the description, the requirement. You can copy and paste in there. And then after that, if you need to write in some notes, that's fine. There's a few other content, like state. I'll just stop.
Yeah, the closer that one doesn't work out, you can see much closer. So come up here with the remote. I think we pointed it out. That's an unexpected technology problem.
You're good. Okay.
Slowly but surely.
Yep, it's green. Yay. All right. Y'all are no different than your college students. You were hoping we'd get out early, right? Man. Okay. Okay, so let me go up just a wee bit. So this is your typical job description. I mean, it's not anything extra than you would normally do, probably. Description, requirements, if you have additional notes that you need to add in there. City, obviously, that's where it's going to be important, Athens versus Demarest. And then, further down, some of that information. And then once you're ready to go, you hit save. And remember, it was already up on the submit here. So if you're ready to save it and it has the submit selected, then it's going to go ahead and go through, and the students will then be able to see the job. So let's pretend like you guys just filled out that form. That's all you have to do. And if I am a student, I'm going to let you know what it looks like. So again, this is the platform the career office uses. I'm going to impersonate a student. This is my test student here. So if you guys are curious and you're ever working with students and they're like, I don't know where to find jobs, tell them to come to Successlink and they can click on jobs. And there should be, I don't know how many jobs you guys have here, but you can see there's a bunch of different jobs that are already available for them. So what your instructions could be to them is all the jobs are there, but you're looking for specifically on-campus positions. So if I click on campus, I can see now there's two different positions here. Piedmont College, this is a test one that was done earlier, and then this is the one that we just did before this training. So I can click on that as a student and I can see, remember that logo? I was saying you guys should put your logo up. So if you put athletic department, they'll see athletic department, and the name of your department will be right here. It may say Piedmont College Athletic Department. That'll be here. They can see the position, all the information that you just posted. So on campus, $7.25 an hour, the location of that position, the when it's going to be posted and expired, the description requirements. If the student says, I don't know about the athletic department, let me check them out, I can actually click on this, and this is where I do get to see those kind of attributes you guys are, saying about yourself. So English department, we need someone that values, whatever. So certainly fill this little profile out on your student, because your students may look into that. Okay, if I'm going to go back one time, I'm going to go back to my job. I'm going to go to on campus and click on my job. So when the student's ready to apply, all they have to do is click apply. And I already told them, the system when I was creating this position, that I want students to send their application to my Purple Briefcase platform. So when the student they've already uploaded resumes within the system. That's what they're training them to do in the Career Center. The student can choose which resume they want to use. So I can use this resume. I can upload a new one if I wanted to. I could also find a cover letter if that's required. Hopefully students are doing that. And this student doesn't have any saved cover letters, so they could browse it. And then once they're ready to apply, they can put their statement, something like, please, please consider me, and I can apply. So now it's sending my application, and that's all the student has to do, is they have to go into their system, find their uploaded resume, and then it gets sent to you. So if I go back to my side as you all, as an employer, and again, how did you get there? You go to the Successlink, page, and then put in your username and password that you're going to get tonight, and you'll be able to go to your account. I'm going to find my person. You guys don't have to do this. This is a side you'll not normally see. Oops. Okay, so I'm going to impersonate my employer. So now I'm looking at my employer side, and I can actually see my applicants. So if I look at job applicants, once I'm logged in, I can see the student, Piedmont College, the name of that student, their email, how they applied, so their application type, the date that they applied, what school they belong to, which will always be you guys, their email. Here's their resume. So if you guys want to wait, let these all pull up until next Monday or whatever day they're going to, you're going to select. You can actually wait, then download all the resumes, review them. And I think one cool thing here, and I'm going to have to make it smaller because I don't want to mess with the recording, but you guys can actually keep track of students. So let's say you have a student that comes into your office and you say, well, I've done I called them in, I phone screened them, and I asked them to come in. You can actually kind of keep track of all those students. So phone screened, I can say I interviewed them, first interview, second interview. You don't even have to use this if you don't want to. This is just there to help you. You can also phone screen and rate the student. So you could have all your students that have applied down in a list. You can rate them, and that'll help you guys if you are interested in that. Any questions so far? Yes, sir.
Well, the students, they obviously won't see that status, but is there somewhere that they see the status of the job application?
Not while it's being, not while it's in this. They know that they've applied, and then it will send them, like if you, obviously you're going to reach out to them once they have applied. So that's kind of how they, you being that final contact is what they're going to hear.
If they change the job status within the program, the platform to closed or whatever, will that email the student?
I don't know that answer. I don't think so. I don't think it does. Okay. Any questions? No? Okay. Brittany, did you want me to add anything about this section here? Okay. So again, the idea here is you guys are going to log in. You're going to get an email tonight. You're going to create a password. You can then immediately be here. If you want to create that little profile the student can see about your office, I clicked on the wrong thing. You go to company profile right here, and you can create this profile. That way the students can know a little bit more about who they're applying to, and then post your job. So that's kind of the process. And then, of course, the HR, once you select who it is, then you can go forward and tell them to go to the website and get all their documents.
Would anybody be doing interviews for their positions or be interested in how to manage interviews through this platform, or would you do it yourself? Just the whole room right? No one doing interviews? Very good. Just FYI, I'm bringing back some of my returning students, and I'm still posting my job via this platform because I think it's important that students get used to using this platform because it's not only our jobs that are posted here, but also external jobs. Any job that comes across my desk goes onto this platform. So if you want to use the system, even for returning hires, I think it's a useful system and it allows you to help them build professional skills. Yeah.
If they apply through here, do they still have to do the Piedmont application?
Yes.
Yes, the employment application is something that is required.
So this does it. This isn't an employment application.
Do what?
This isn't an employment application.
Well, they should be, that's going to be something that I think that we're going to communicate at least to the new freshmen, and that employment application should be something that they upload into this. So when they can add
So
the
instead of the resume, do the employment.
Yes, so they can send it to the office, but the employment application is a requirement.
Okay.
And you may not require students to do a resume. I would encourage it as a career services person, but you don't have to. You're not required to post resumes. Concerns, questions? While Jenny, our representative, is here. I'm your point person. If you have troubleshooting issues, I'm going to be offering another training session on this for faculty as soon as it's approved by Dr. Reddick on the date. So if you have questions, you can contact me and we can work through it together. But I really am hoping that you guys take ownership of this and that you post your own positions, you manage your own positions, because it's a lot, but I'm also doing all the external employers as well. So a lot of employers.
And one last point is that in the middle of the semester, for by chance a student worker leaves or you fire someone, that's an open position. That means that you do have to upload your job description for students to be able to review to see if they can apply for that job.
Is that going to be saved and you could just go turn it back on?
Sure. So you can absolutely do that. You can go back to that job and copy the job and then just change the date. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Yeah. I feel like, yeah, one more question.
Do you think eventually we can make our job application what is required on here? That way they don't have to do 2 pieces of paper? Or do this and the extra piece of paper?
What's the extra piece of paper?
The actual employment application, the Piedmont employment application. Could this eventually become the Piedmont employment application? Because if you're
Well,
trying
the
to
job
get everybody to
application
go
has
through here.
several questions that we have to know.
I was wondering, is it possible to add those questions to the platform?
Or better yet,
what we're asking?
could we attach an application automatically that automatically attaches to every position announcement?
Yeah, to eliminate the paper.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I think we should compare the two and figure out what the extra questions are and then go from there. And like Brittany said, you can certainly, instead of having them upload a cover letter, upload that, but then they're still doing that second thing and it's probably asking their name, their, all that stuff. So I think maybe some collaboration could be done potentially, and we can talk about that.
So is there ways to add questions to the application on here? Or is it a...
There could be. It depends on the questions and... Pardon me?
Is there an application on here?
When the student is going to look at a particular position, they have to... Let's see. Okay, so I'm gonna click here. I'm just gonna click on a particular job. Oh my gosh.
It's a nightmare.
So the application, because our system already knows who the students are, what major they are, their grad year, some of those pieces, it comes over to you, and or the employer. They can know that information. So when the student clicks apply, a lot of their stuff is already in there, so they're not having to refill out that. It makes it very easy for them. That's why I'm saying, we could compare what is in the HR office and what's needed with what we offer or ask.
For the student.
Sure. I get it. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Students are able to create a profile within the system that they can put in information about themselves that an employer can then look at the student profile that the student has created, including multiple types of documents that the student can attach to their little individual profiles. So that might be another place we can put that information.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions about that? Okay. So I'm done. If you guys don't have any questions, and our thing is it's coming back on. Okay.
We did handouts also on the way that kind of explain this process and more detail if you want to have a paper hard copy up here.
Right there.
If you want to have a hard copy.
If you guys take this handout, it's not necessarily, I think all of it is not necessarily pertinent to you. So I think it's mainly the second page is creating, I'm not looking at one, but uploading it or loading in your job, so it gives you a description of what to do. And so the first and second page is most appropriate. The third and fourth is not.
You click on the apply button. I just want to see it.
So that's an employer that wants you to go to their website. So let me go back. Oh shoot, I already applied. I already applied to that one.
Go back.
Okay, so apply.
So provide a brief introduction. This introduction will be emailed. That little word right there, Jenny, that says please do not exceed 300 characters. Could we make that individual questions? Could we customize that to make individual questions?
I can check on that. I'm not sure.
That's my only thought.
It looks to me like they could go on the Piedmont College website, fill out the application, upload that, and attach it here.
Yeah.
And not
Yeah.
have to.
Anyway, we can explore that for sure, because I think the simpler we make it, the better.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Jenny?